Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride. I think we're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
In 3.
Welcome to SuperTalk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode 109. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pedersen. With me, as always, my illustrious co-host, Titanium Tony Estrella, back from the banks. Titanium.
Professor, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah.
We haven't talked much.
No, you know, it's...
And there's a lot that's dropped, so...
Yeah, we've got a lot to go over today. I mean, it literally, in the I'm titling this episode, trailers dropping everywhere. It seems like all of a sudden everybody wanted to drop a trailer for whatever the hell they had going on.
Yeah.
Which is good for us. At least we have something to talk about. And we've got more coming. So that's great. In some ways, we kind of get an idea of what's happening. We've got some good trailers to talk about that are giving us even more information about what we thought might be going on in some of these projects. So anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll
Master
get into
Sunday, what'd you do for Master Sunday? You said you got out and shot a couple of holes with your wife?
Yeah, played with the wife. We had some fun. You know, she's down playing once a week, 9 holes once a week, and so she wanted to go out and practice a little bit. So yeah, it was a beautiful weekend. I mean,
unbelievable.
A little cool, but it was like, you could just tell spring is
Yesterday
here.
was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Nice chill in the air, but sunny.
It was like brisk.
I'll take it all day.
Brisk, but it was,
all
pleasant.
Day.
Yeah, pleasant.
Sign me up all day. Well, that's great. Let's get into it, Professor.
Yeah, well, let's thank the patrons, the listeners that bring the show to you. Patreon.com/SuperTalk is how you become a member. If you want to help support the show, go to Patreon.com/SuperTalk, and you become a patron. Just donate $1 every time we come out with an episode, and our patrons are the best. We love them. So if you want to join, we'll send you some swag. We'll send you some gifts. Join the patronship. Patreon.com/SuperTalk.
Speaking of swag and gifts.
Yeah.
I'm in the doghouse.
Why's that?
I pulled the trigger on something I probably shouldn't have.
What'd you pull the trigger on?
I spent some money on some real serious swag.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was bored. And
you got the itch.
Yeah.
I was on some shopping sites, designing some stuff, and
my lovely trophy wife is not very happy with me. But you know what? When they come in, it's going to be killer. I got something for you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it.
Yeah.
It's all anytime the Swagmobile comes and delivers stuff to Titanium's house, it's always a good day.
Whenever Titanium gets bored, the
Yeah.
Swagmobile tends to pull up front. So yeah. Nice. We got some stuff, really cool stuff.
That'll be cool. And as a matter of fact, good friend of the show, our friend Luis, is now, I understand, has taken a new job out at a place out in Ashburn, in One Loudon, and he's told me that they may be looking for a live audience type of event sometime here in the near future, and he'd like us to come out and host an event at his place. So I told him, you know where to contact us.
I mean,
SuperTalkPod at Outlook.com or at SuperTalkPod on Twitter.
The answer is always yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A live broadcast, yes.
We'll do it.
Get in front of the fans, answer some questions, yes. Absolutely.
So maybe so here's what I'm thinking. And I don't know how this is going to pan out. We'll have to figure this out because this is like 3.5 weeks from now. Maybe we do our Guardians review episode from there. Which is early May. So let's think about it. We'll put our heads together. We'll talk about it.
I'm all in.
I'll get in touch. So Luis, if you're out there, please get in touch with me, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, 3.5 weeks. The swag should be in. So.
Yeah.
And our good friend, huge super fan of the show, Greg Vira, I got something for him too coming.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into the review section. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, after our last show, it seems like over the next 5 days, we got every trailer released online. So we're gonna jump into every one that we saw, and we'll kind of give our thoughts and impressions of them. The Blue Beetle trailer dropped. So this is one of those leftover projects that DC had on the slate before James Gunn and James Safran took over and built their kind of vision for the DC universe. You and I, huge fans of the character, just from Young Justice, the show, and some of the animated movies that DC has done featuring the Blue Beetle character. Really, really fantastic character, and very deep and rich, with some storylines that they can kind of go into, which we might get some of this in the movie. So we were really excited about this. Originally was going to be a series on HBO Max.
Right.
They then turned it into a movie.
Added some budget to it.
Oh, yeah.
And they pumped it up big time.
They said, hey, we want to put some special effects in this thing, and so we need to make it a movie.
You think they took some of the budget away from Batgirl to put it?
That very well could be the case.
Could have been. Huh?
But anyway, we saw the trailer for this. Good cast. I think the cast is very good, and it looks like they've diverted a little bit from the true kind of comic book backstory for Jaime Reyes. So, and again, there are 3 different iterations of the Blue Beetle character in the DC Comics.
Yeah, from like 1939 is when it first came out. Yeah,
and very different. But the version that we know and have known from Young Justice was Jaime Reyes, a young Hispanic teenager in the comic books, which is one of the criticisms.
From El Paso, Texas. Right?
Which I'll get into.
That.
Right, Mexican American, and he gets a scarab, this beetle. He bonds with it and attaches to his body and gives him all kinds of abilities, but also it's kind of sentient.
You see that in the trailer.
Yeah. It's sentient, has its own mind, and kind of they end up finding ways to cooperate, but the beetle, which we find out much later.
Well, the scarab is basically alien tech, right? It's alien tech developed by...
It's sentient AI alien technology that is sent to a world...
By the Reach.
By this... Yeah, come on, you're spoiling everything.
I'm sorry. I'm all right.
But anyway, sent to planets to basically dominate a planet or make it ready for...
takeover, right?
Inhabitation by the Reach.
Okay.
So we learn a lot about that. I'm hoping the movie kind of gets into some of that. My only, again, the special effects looked amazing.
Yeah.
The suit looked amazing.
Did you ever see that movie, The Guyver? Do you ever see that movie?
No.
It's called The Guyver, and it's very similar. It's this alien technology that kind of fuses itself to this guy's spine and creates this symbiote like suit. And it's really cool. I'd highly suggest it even now. It's kind of a cool movie, but it's very similar to that. So this has got vibes of that.
Yeah, but I was very surprised at how well they did the suit and what it looked like on screen. It was really good. My only criticism, I think that, they've got a really good cast.
George Lopez?
George Lopez plays the father. Looks like they've got the uncle. The whole family's in the movie. Yeah. It looks like there are allusions to the previous Blue Beetle, and who's got kind of a bat cave. He's kind of a Batman type of technologist.
Oh yeah, those suits in that one scene. It looks like a lair.
And the thing they're flying around in, it's the old Blue Beetle's lair. So
those suits are reminiscent of comic book old Blue Beetles. Oh, that's cool.
And we actually, I believe, might meet the old Blue Beetle in the movie too. So
interesting.
I don't want to get into too much of that. It might be spoiler territory, but
wasn't Jason Sudeikis attached to this at some point?
Yeah, that's the rumor, is that he's going to be.
That's cool.
Well, you're just dropping all kinds of spoiler bombs.
Hey, today, man, I'm sitting here listening to the professor. I'm learning so much. I'm learning.
So, but I my only criticism, and valid or not, I think the actor they chose to portray Jaime Reyes is well known, has a following, is one of the younger stars, of Hispanic descent, and I like the kid. I think he's going to do very well. My only criticism is I wanted a younger Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes in the comics and even in the animated TV shows and movies that they've done, I would say is maybe in the 14-year-old range.
Oh, wow.
14 to 15-year-old. This guy is probably a 23 to 24-year-old guy playing a 19-year-old guy.
Yeah.
he just seems a bit too old for me. And again, I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm not saying it's a bad decision, but I really wish they would have at least skewed a little bit younger on the Jaime Reyes character.
You're a comic book truist, and that's I get it. I like the kid. Isn't he in Cobra Kai or something?
That's kind of where he was known from his Cobra Kai. Okay. Yeah. So, and again, who knows? I'm sure he's going to do a great job. And one of the things that they don't have to worry about, and I think this is one of the things that the studios have struggled with over the years, is when you cast a younger character to portray a comic book hero or a comic book villain or whatever, you really have to do so many movies so quickly because they'll age out of it eventually. They'll get too old. Yeah, you know. I mean, look what we just saw in the Shazam movie. All those kids that played the Shazam kids, in the first movie were like
adults,
basically adults now. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest. Well, I had a lot of,
but you can't make it a movie every year. I mean,
you can't. Yeah, it's impossible. But you're right. So overall feelings towards the trailer, what'd you think?
I'm excited for it, and I think James Gunn hasn't openly come out and said Blue Beetle is part of the future of the DCU, but he has been very ambiguous about the character to the extent where I think he believes it should be or could be part of their future.
So would you say, or would you agree or concur, allegedly part of the DC future?
Yes, I think he's
allegedly.
He's made it, at least to some extent, clear that he wants this character and this version of the character to be part of his and frankly, because it's disconnected. Could they have tied it into the Spiderverse or what was going on? Yes, I'm sure they could have eventually. But they chose not to, and maybe that being the fact that it is standalone means that they can tie it into a future.
Smart, James Gunn, smart not saying anything until it comes out and see the success. If it absolutely blasts it, I mean, he's going to have to make room for it somewhere. Is my feeling, but I think he is. I think he's got a feeling that he wants Blue Beetle in the future some way, some shape or form. I liked the trailer a lot. I thought the special effects were awesome. I think the suit looks amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's very cool. The power set, which you and I are very have very opinionated mindset on power sets, and I think it's really cool. I think it's great.
Well, I think they did. They were as comic book accurate as they could be. Look, the suit can pretty much do almost anything. Can change form, can create weapons out of itself. It can do a lot of stuff, and it looks like that's what they did here. Again, big departure. I look at what Marvel did with Ms. Marvel and how they chose to render those powers, and it was just a huge mistake. And it looks like they're at least staying true to the way the Blue Beetle comic books...
Even though the origin story has differed quite a bit.
Yeah, how he gets the scarab and how he, it's very different. And it looks like they're following some of the comic book origin story as far as some of the characters that are going to be in the movie, but not fully, so we'll see.
A couple of things I noticed and interesting we could probably talk about is I really didn't get a sense of the big bad. I know Susan Sarandon is the head of Cord. Is it Cord or something corporation?
Yeah.
And it's her corporation that they steal the scarab from, and she wants it back. And she even says in the trailer, it chose you, but it's mine. And something nefarious is going on at this corporation, obviously.
Well, the big secret is her brother was the old Blue Beetle.
Was the old... Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. In the comics? So he
maybe in the movie too.
I see.
So, and that's why I don't want to get too much into it, because there may be some things that the movie is at least trying to keep from us that are kind of part of the plot that we'll figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. Also, there was rumors that the Instructible. I didn't say that right. Instructible man. Instructible. I guess that's the wrong word. Anyway, there's no sense of really what the big villain is here, like who the big villain is, which might be really cool to kind of find that out.
Again, this is the first
trailer, yeah.
So This movie's
Which is August?
Yeah, movie's coming out in August, so we have time. I mean, they're definitely going to be doing some more marketing, ramping up, and we may get some more details about the plot at some point in time. And if some of those rumors that you mentioned are true, my feeling is that, if I'm not saying that's the case, but if Jason Sudeikis is in the movie, look, his television show just happens to be airing right now, and it's in the final season, and it's going to end, in another couple of weeks. Right. And boy, wouldn't that be a great reveal? Kind of right before the movie's going to come out to
huge
kind of reveal
pull, huge star pull. That's for sure.
So we'll see.
What'd you feel about that comment? Batman is a fascist. I took it as pure comedy. Like I didn't read anything into it. It was just comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset about that.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
God, stop with the cancel culture, people.
Yeah,
I mean, stop.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just.
Can't we just make fun of things and just be funny?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, but I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, me too.
It'll definitely be. It'll be. Look, here's what I'll say is, I kind of see this in a very similar vein to the way I see the Shazam character in those movies that DC came out with. I like this character very much. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out on the big screen. I'm not heavily invested in this character nor its success. I'm kind of very just looking forward to seeing what they're doing with it. Yeah. It could be very cool, but I'm like, oh my God. Like, if they screw up Blue Beetle, I'm out. No. I'm not like that at all. Right?
Now, I am like that with the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah.
If they screw up the Fantastic Four or Dr.
Like they did the last time?
Oh, I'm out. I will not support that whatsoever. But you're absolutely correct. The Blue Beetle, it's just cool.
Yeah, and I just think it could be very fun.
Yeah, it could be fun.
But it'll be a movie that I'm I'll be happy to see, but I'll be like, oh my God, I can't wait to go see the Blue Beetle. Yeah. Well, if I see it on Saturday instead of Friday, I'll be okay. Yeah. But it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So, we got another trailer for Secret Invasion. And oh boy, did we get another trailer! This was it wasn't like a full minute and a half.
It was online.
Yeah, it was a long trailer. We really got some details about the plot. We find out that Nick Fury hasn't been on Earth in a very long time. As a matter of fact, either faked his own death, or most people think he's dead because he has a grave.
Yeah.
And came back because shit's going down and needs his attention, and it looks like part of the plot. We're not really sure how this works. In the comic book, Secret Invasion was a very concerted effort on the part of the Skrulls to invade our planet and take over individuals in high power, high influence, as well as superheroes. And become those people for an extended period of time, to the point where it was, broad spread.
Right.
Like, we're going to be the President of the United States, and then we're going to be the Secretary of State, and then we're going to, be the chairman of the board of these 4 companies, and we're going to, it was like pretty concerted effort. It looks like to me that this colony of Skrulls that inhabited Earth after the Captain Marvel movie, that Nick Fury helped, kind of at least have a home here on this planet. A faction of them, or some of them, maybe went off and decided to do things on their own and go a different direction.
Yeah, that's definitely what I got from the trailer, is that there is a rogue group of Skrulls that are infiltrating all facets of government and high-powered places to kind of take over. And Nick Fury catches wind of this. And Talos is still playing Talos is still playing Nick Fury, but he comes down onto the planet from
wherever,
Sword or wherever he was, and has to get involved in that. And it looks awesome.
And it also looks like those Skrulls commit a crime or do something really bad as Nick Fury, which makes Nick Fury become the most wanted man on the planet. We see Rhodey say that to him when he meets with him. You're the most wanted man on the planet. So it looks very, Cloak and Dagger, and every one
It's got like remember that TV show 24?
Yeah.
With Kiefer Sutherland? I mean, it looks very kind of like that kind of feel. Cloak and Dagger, kind of a mystery type of whodunit. I think it looks amazing. This is probably one of the most excited I've been.
Yeah, so Nick Fury is Jack Ryan.
Right, yeah.
Did you know the boogeyman looks under his bed for Jack Ryan?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be I think this is going to have broad, sweeping impacts across the Marvel Universe. As I've alluded to in the past, I do believe many characters that either were in movies or television shows could be revealed to have been Skrulls the entire time.
Wow.
There could be some deaths that have happened in the past that may be undone because of this.
Oh boy.
So we'll kind of see how that plays out. I'm excited for this, and it looks like the cast is good. We find out, at least we kind of understand now, Emilia Clarke is playing Talos's daughter.
Yeah.
Who was in Captain Marvel as the young version of herself,
Yeah.
but she's a Skrull, not the Skrull Queen or Abigail Brand. Theoretically, she may be Abigail Brand in the future, but we don't know this. But anyway, this is going to be very cool.
Yeah.
The trailer was awesome. He made allusions to the fact that he may die, Nick Fury, because he says at the end of the trailer, it's time for one fight. One last time, or like he's like ready to, he's going to go off to his own death or something. So, look, they're not going to get rid of, as long as Marvel and Disney keep paying Samuel Jackson, he's going to keep coming back as this character. So,
spy thriller, and I'm looking forward to
June
it.
June 21st. We did get that. One of the things that came with this
comes
trailer
out June 21st. Yeah.
was we finally got a date. We knew, again, rumors were this was going to release in May. There were other rumors that were saying it was going to be delayed. We finally got a date of June 21st, so it is being delayed until June, but June 21st is when it's coming out. This gives us more, ammunition to believe that Loki Season 2 is coming later, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, later in the summer, if not early fall, so we'll kind of figure that out. We got another trailer. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse released a full trailer, again, with a lot more detail about the plot of this movie.
Yeah, basically outline the plot, right?
Yeah. That Spider-Man 2099 has basically created this, we'll say, team of Spider-Men and Spider-Women from across the multiverse.
Yeah.
And they're combating some multiversal threat. And this team that he's putting together is kind of comes together periodically into this place that he's created, this central multiverse place where they can all meet and work together. And for some reason, he doesn't want to have anything to do with our star of the movie. He said, you can't be part of the team, or you're not.
Yeah, I think Miles has a decision to make. Either let his father die or save his father. And for some reason, that the implications of him saving his father and changing the course of his destiny affects the multiverse in a very traumatic way. Yeah. So that's what I got out of it. I mean, I think that there's those type of sacrifices that all of them have made. We even get a clip of Gwen, Spider-Gwen,
in her universe, Peter dies.
Yeah, Peter dies.
Instead of Gwen Stacy always dies in every Peter's universe, but in her universe, Peter's the one that dies.
Right. So all of them have had this Uncle Ben type move, Aunt May type moment, and he hasn't, even though his uncle died in the first one, right? He was the bad guy.
The Prowler?
Yeah. But I think what it is that they've determined that it's his father that causes the path of him becoming that Spider-Man.
Yeah, but if you remember in the first movie, didn't his universe's Peter Parker die in the beginning of the movie, which kind of became I don't know. But it also looks like we got an idea of who the villain of the movie is, and it's Spot, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is very much a Miles Morales villain, but has a tie to the multiverse as well, has the ability to open holes into different universes and all kinds of other things. But I'm looking forward to it. Look, I've said this multiple times. Into the Spiderverse was one of my favorite Spider-Man movies ever. I'm really looking forward to this movie. Comes out in July, I believe. Correct? Yeah. So look, this is, I think, is going to be great. And again, it's a 2-part movie, so we know there's going to be some kind of cliffhanger, and we're going to get the next episode of this movie.
I totally forgot about that.
I think a year and a half later.
Oh,
yeah. So,
I'm so bummed now. I totally forgot that.
Yeah.
That it's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Damn. Big cliffhanger. God, I hate cliffhangers. But yeah, it looks spectacular. I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah. And the animation style, and it's just really, really cool. So I mean,
it's no Super Mario Brothers animation.
Did you see that movie?
No, I haven't yet, but that movie's kicking ass.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Like, it's taken the theaters by storm.
I'm sure it's kicking.
Oh, crazy. And then Tomatoes, that vegetable thing, the critics absolutely panned it rotten. And the I guess the audience has boosted it to like 94, 95, like one of the highest rated, and then the critics pan it. So
but
crazy.
Again, it's not trying to win an Oscar.
No.
It's trying to entertain adults who grew up with Mario.
Yes.
And entertain children who love Mario. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah. That's hilarious. I mean, I'm going to see that movie for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right. So those are our trailers. News about another trailer, though, we have to cover in our news section.
How many trailers?
Yeah, no kidding. So rumor was over the weekend that a trailer for the Marvels movie would be dropping tomorrow, Tuesday, April 11th.
How crazy is that?
And it was confirmed by Marvel today.
Yeah.
There was a little teaser that they dropped on Twitter today that said, trailer coming tomorrow.
That movie doesn't come out until November, right?
Well, and let's remember, this movie was originally scheduled to come out in July, late July, July 25th or something like that originally. They pushed it to November for 2 reasons. One, because of that massive year-long gap that was created with Blade being delayed a full year. They moved it to kind of fill that gap, so now we only have a 6, so we're going to go from May to November, and then November to the following May. So we've got a little bit of a less gap to worry about. But there was also rumors of major rewrites and reshoots and friction on the set and all this other stuff. And look, I'll say a lot of it's rumor. There's as many people saying that the movie is doing very well and the cast of characters has gotten along very well and it's doing just fine, and while there are reshoots, they're not massive, and so there's all kinds of rumors on both sides.
There's a tremendous amount of spin going on about this movie, which leads me to believe that some of it could be true. The test screenings were abysmal, and they did some reshoots. That could be true. Maybe it's not. Maybe there isn't, and all the cast members are getting along. There's no animosity and everything. Everybody's hunky-dory. But, I mean, the fact that there's so much...
well, the fact that we know nothing about this movie, which is, I believe, the reason why this trailer's coming out tomorrow, is we know...
Tomorrow is in April 11th 2023.
We know nothing about the plot, who the villain is, where this movie takes place. We know the 3 characters are in it. We have no idea how they get together. We know nothing about
how they switch places.
We know nothing about nothing. So I think that's one of the reasons that this. And again, this is a teaser. This is not the full minute-long trailer. This is just a teaser. So I mean, expect a 30-second spot to kind of just at least let us know what's going on.
I don't even think they're going to let us know what's going on. I think it's just going to be flashes of scenes to get an idea of what the film will look like. I don't think we're going to be revealed anything to do with the plot or anything like that. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it will be a teaser just to give us a flash of Monica.
Do you think so let me ask you a question. Do you think we will get a full trailer for this movie with Guardians in May?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I told you when you mentioned that this was coming out, I told you I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised that they were going to be releasing a teaser or a trailer this early, simply because of the delays, and it seems very early to start the marketing for this movie. But you and I've said this repeatedly. this is probably the movie we are least excited for this year of
because
all
we know
the
nothing
movies.
About it.
Well, but good for good reason.
Yeah.
But even if we knew something about it, I don't think we'd be very excited about it.
No. This is so low on my to-do list.
And look, we'll get into this here in a couple weeks when we do our preview, but at this point in time, I think it is safe to say that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has to be good.
Yeah.
Or because we know that Marvel's has been on a very downtrend since Phase 4 started, and now with the beginning of Phase 5, everything is still trending down.
Yeah.
We haven't had a really good Marvel movie in a long time.
Or series.
Series, recently. The first year we had several, but so there's been a downtrend. Guardians has to be good.
Yeah.
If it's, and I don't think, look, we trust James Gunn. We love these characters. We kind of have a feeling of what's going to happen in this movie. I think it's going to be good. It better be, but I think it will be.
Yeah.
So I trust in that. But the next film that they're coming out with is the Marvels. And if they go from, good Guardians movie to bad Marvels movie, I mean, then we're just back where we were.
The big shift in Marvel and the big redirect here is, push everything back and quality over quantity, which you and I both agree is a great thing, is a good thing. As fans, we want more. We want both, right? As a selfish fan, I want quality and quantity.
Right. I want you to release a lot of stuff, and I want it to all be very good.
Right. But if I had to pick one, quality would trump quantity for sure. So Marvel is shifting a lot of stuff. I think moving forward.
Well, and that just leads me to believe you can't then come out with stinkers if you're doing this, right? If you delayed this movie, 3 months, 4 months, 3.5 months, if you delayed this movie 3.5 months to get it right, well, then you better get it right.
Yeah.
Why are you delaying it if it changed nothing, right? Look,
stay tuned. We'll cover the
tuned.
teaser next week.
And speaking of other delays, so the rumor is the Loki season 2 full trailer is done, and we should be expecting to see that sometime in the next several weeks. I don't know if Marvel would take away any of the kind of promotion and momentum around Guardians 3. It might be right after that, though, where they release this trailer. Because, again, the theory is looking at Marvel's and Disney, because it's not just Marvel anymore that shares the Disney Plus space. We'll have Secret Invasion starting at the end of June.
Oh,
Loki agrees, right? We have Secret Invasion starting at the end of June. We'll probably run through the end of July, early August. Looks like did we get a release date for Ashoka?
I believe they did.
Was it August?
Yeah, because we got that full trailer. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so if if there's an August release date for that tells me that they're going to run through that, and then Loki would follow on, kind of like in the September time.
I don't think we get a trailer for Loki, not this close to Guardians.
Well, and the one thing that's still out there, look, we covered this on our last episode. Jonathan Majors being arrested. Since then, there's been some retractions of stories. He has not been formally charged. He has not been arraigned. He's not,
Court date in May.
Yeah.
I think Marvel is playing this really close to the vest.
Right. And they're waiting. It's a wait and see.
Of course.
It sounds like to me that they believe that when he does finally go to court in May, he will be fully exonerated and cleared of all these charges. If that's the case, hey, business as usual. And so, to your point, Titanium, they wouldn't release a trailer until that's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, regardless if he's exonerated, regardless if it's been recanted in the story and she's taking blame for everything, like he sent out the texts and his lawyer's very good, immediately started getting her to sign things that he did nothing. But the fact is that she had physical marks on herself. There was some kind of altercation, and she went to the hospital, and that's in the report. So this is going to be so interesting to see how this plays out. And
here's what we know. We know Loki season 2 has been completed.
Yes.
They're done filming it.
Yes.
It is in the can. It is just waiting to be released to Disney Plus.
So push it back until this plays out.
But they're not going to redo it.
No, but they're going to push it back until this plays out.
So here's my question to you, Titanium. Let's say he's guilty and ends up going to prison.
Yep.
Do you release the series?
Interesting, because he's a huge part of that series.
Not saying that they wouldn't recast him, because they probably likely would.
I think it's easier, and I said this on Twitter, I think it's easier to recast him than to change the whole storyline, because you have Kang.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that they've already done Loki season 2 with him as the villain in the series. It doesn't say you can't recast him in any future projects like Kang Dynasty and Secret War and all the other things going forward. You could, because those haven't even begun filming yet. But I'm saying you're going to have Loki season 2 come out, because from what we understand, it plays a huge role in the plot of those future projects.
Huge.
So do you release it if he's guilty? Boy, this is going to be interesting. And again,
so sticky.
Let's just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Likely that this comes.
He allegedly did something.
Yeah.
He allegedly committed a crime, and allegedly Marvel is going to wait and see. Allegedly, or maybe they've already made up their mind. But you're right, Professor. That is a tough question to even answer right now.
Yeah, and I just don't think we know the answer to that. And so what it tells me is that, look, maybe there were some good reasons to delay this show to like the fall time frame. So we'll see. And again, until we get an official announcement, again, that's why I was excited about Secret Invasion finally coming, trailer coming out. We now have a date.
Yes.
Official announcement.
Official announcement.
Right.
And always hold your breath for an official announcement.
Right, exactly.
That's why I don't think Loki, the trailer, will come out.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. Another rumor that's out there that has yet to be confirmed or denied is we heard that as Marvel was pulling back on some of the projects that we may only get 2 Disney Plus series this year, Secret Invasion and Loki Season 2. We expect a special presentation around the holiday time frame, October time frame around Halloween, which they did last year as well, which would only be like a one-shot thing. But there was heavy rumors that X-Men 97 would still come out this year.
Yes.
That it was still going to be released before the end of the calendar year,
which is an animated show.
Which has been, they've been working on this for a long time.
Right.
So this is now being rumored to be pushed back into 2024. The showrunner for the show, when the rumor started hitting, came out and said, "No news to announce. Just please be patient.
Yeah.
We'll have something to tell you." I'm of the mindset. Look, if this comes out, great. If it doesn't, I'm not upset, but I kind of wish it would come out. But then I'm like, okay, well, who cares? If you're saying it's not going to come out for a year, yeah, that would piss me off. But if you're saying, well, no, it'll be like sometime early 2024, then
early 2024, I can deal with.
Fine.
Yeah.
But again, at this point in time, Titanium, it's like, then they're just delaying stuff for the sake of delaying it. Because this is an animated show.
Yes.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
What else do you have to do? It's not like you're reshooting stuff or you're polishing the special effects and all this other stuff. That's why they're delaying some of these things.
Are they drinking the Kool-Aid, the superhero fatigue Kool-Aid?
I guess.
And they're trying to push stuff back?
Which is Titanium, and I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I think
that could
the
happen.
Success or failure of some of the projects they have coming up early this year, again, we know
Guardians.
how much of a flop Ant-Man was, as much as you loved it.
Allegedly.
Flop. Financial flop as well. Guardians should be good.
Yeah.
But then, say Secret Invasion flops. Ooh. Right?
Then you got a problem.
And then you go into Loki Season 2. And that may be affected by this news we just talked about. And then you go into the Marvels. Who knows? Boy, and then that would say, okay, yeah, we're hitting a big time pause button. We're emergency halt.
Yeah.
Stop all machines. We need to get this stuff right.
I mean, what if they move Echo up and push Loki back until the Jonathan Major thing plays out? And if
they could do that,
that's in the can. I mean, that's just my theory that maybe
that'd be a huge disappointment.
It would be very disappointing. But just to kind of pacify fans from Loki being pushed even further, and give them time to do reshoots.
I guess they could do that. I mean, because Echo's been done as we believe.
Who knows? Have you heard anything about Agatha? Nothing.
Well, they've been filming. That's all. We've seen those scenes, but you've heard nothing about the plot or anything like that.
Nope.
And what Captain America 4 is scheduled to be released a year from now.
Yeah.
And a year from May.
And they're shooting down in Atlanta.
They're just begun, right, filming. So, all right, well, we'll see. Speaking of, Guardians ramped up their promotion for the Guardians 3 movie when tickets went on sale last week. New snippets and trailers and little one-shots and 30-second hit things here and there, and actors coming on YouTube and doing stuff and having little short commercials. I'm going dark, dude. I don't want to watch all this stuff because, frankly, so they did the same thing. They do it all the time. They did so much of that for Ant-Man and the Wasp that it definitely ruined it for me. I mean, I knew what that whole movie was about by the time the movie came out. I'm stopping with all this stuff.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think James Gunn's smarter than that. I think he has a say in what can be shown and what's not. I think he's smarter than that, and I don't think he's going to let on as much as
I hope not.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I hope not.
But you're right, that trailer, and well, a lot of it was, the rumors and the script being leaked and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going dark yet because I just watched the featurette today. But I'll probably go dark soon, and we got to decide on when we're going to see that.
Yeah, we do need to buy our tickets, but at the same time, this is a pattern that these studios have gotten into. They want you to get excited about the movie. They want you to pre-buy your tickets, and then they want to get you excited about bringing friends and seeing it multiple times and all that stuff. I get it. I don't need to see new scenes and show me more and more stuff every time you keep coming out with new commercials because you're just.
I've seen enough.
I have seen enough.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I buy my ticket and then opt out of all that other stuff? Can I just opt out? Hit the opt out button?
Yeah. Just don't look at your phone or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is easy nowadays. So anyway, I'm going to go dark at least on this movie because I don't want it to be spoiled because I really am looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too.
Understand the Thunderbolts movie is going through a massive rewrite. So the writer of the Thunderbolts movie was the same writer behind Black Widow. So that'll tell you enough, at least as much as you need to know about why it might be going through some rewrites. From what we understand, the original script focused too much on the characters we already knew very well and not enough on the other members of the team. So let's just say Yelena Belova and Red Guardian and Winter Soldier were kind of the primary focus of the entire script, and the other supporting characters were kind of just left off on the side. From what we understand, the rewrites are now incorporating all of the characters who are going to be part of the team. And so that's going through some rewrites now. Understand that, obviously they haven't even started filming that movie yet, but that, comes out in a year and a half. So we'll kind of see where they're going with that. But
I think that's a smart move.
Yeah. Again, get it right. Again, we said this about Blade. No reason to make a bad Blade movie. Get Blade right and then make the movie. We know the Fantastic Four has gone through major script rewrites.
They fired the guy and they hired somebody completely to rewrite the script.
Right.
So that's major right there.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. But yeah, I heard Blade is going to be rated R now. Mahershala Ali is definitely, that was one of the things that he said, no, I'm not doing this unless it's rated R. It has to be rated R, like Deadpool 3 has to be rated R. So I think he's going to get his way. That's awesome. But yeah, General Ross is in Captain America New World Order, right?
I think General Ross will be President Ross in Captain America New World Order, and it's possible that by the end of the movie he's Red Hulk.
Okay. So we might see him in Thunderbolts?
Red Hulk?
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Again, we know the leader is coming back for Captain America: New World Order.
Yeah.
In the comic books, the leader was very much involved with Thunderbolt Ross's transformation into the Red Hulk.
Got it.
And so I think that is part of the plot line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they've come out and said that we're not going to hide the Red Hulk. He's going to be up front and center. Promotions, trailers.
Yeah, but I don't know how much of he's going to be part of that movie.
Yeah.
I think and what's interesting when does Indiana Jones 4 come out?
It comes out in June.
Next year?
No, this
year. Okay. So
just dropped the trailer.
Yeah, that's fine. So I thought it was next year. So this year, that's fine. There's no conflict there. But yeah, you know that Harrison Ford's going to be a very big part. I think he will be, as President Ross, will be featured heavily in Captain America 4.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of that movie, it will be revealed, oh my gosh, that he's the Red Hulk, right?
Awesome.
You know, so, but again, I'm assuming, but because I believe he's going to be a very big part of the Thunderbolts plot. You know? Anyway, so something that good. I don't know if I'm sure you paid attention to this, being a big Star Wars fan as you are. Titanium, Star Wars Celebration was just this past weekend. Big kind of internal conference that Lucasfilm or Disney kind of puts on to really kind of promote what they've got going on with Star Wars. Finally got a lot of the news that a lot of the fans have been waiting for a long time.
They announced a couple of movies,
television shows, a bunch of stuff. But was very successful, well attended, fans loved it.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about, well, why aren't we doing the same thing for Marvel?
Yeah.
And while Marvel has participated in San Diego Comic-Con and their Disney Plus Day and D23 and all those other things, they're now saying, why don't we just do an Avengers Con? Very similar
to DC.
No. Well, yes, but if you remember in Ms. Marvel, the television show, they went to Avengers Con.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
But they're talking about maybe doing one now, doing a Marvel Con or Avengers Con.
That'd be great.
That. Yeah. Look, you've seen studios say more or save more for their own conferences or events than they have shared in these public things like Comic-Con. If that's the way you want to do it, fine, do it. I mean, I'd rather you do that than not say anything all year long, which is what they're doing right now. Yeah. They're not saying anything.
Yeah.
You know, so
big flux. They're in a big flux. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think eliminate some of the stuff from Comic-Con because I think that's run its course.
Plus we never get tickets.
Plus we never got in. Bitter as shit about that. Do your own thing. Spread out. And you're saying, well, it's Disney. Disney wants to kind of have that hype off of themselves, but Disney let Star Wars do their own thing. So why not let them do their own thing?
Right.
It's one of the biggest brands they have.
I'd rather them do that than have these non-events. Because remember how disappointed we were for D23?
Oh, it was very disappointing.
And it was like, wait a minute.
What? What'd you announce? We knew all that.
Yeah.
And gave us nothing.
Right. All right, well, let's get into our top of the week. We'll transition. Another big firing at Disney between our last show and now, and that was the dismissal of Ike Perlmutter, who at the time was chairman of Marvel Entertainment. But Ike has a... Oh, and by the way, this is brought to us by our friends at Studio GG Studios. Can't forget them.
Home of the Man Band, Corner of the Cob.
Thanks, Studio G.
Thank you.
For bringing us the top of the week. But Ike was... he has a very long history with Marvel. Was chairman of the company back in the 90s of Marvel Comics and Marvel Entertainment in general, who owned comics. And at the time, the company was not doing very well financially. Sales of comic books had waned. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy, and he almost single-handedly saved the company. And the way that he did it was by selling off the intellectual property to other companies. So if you want to blame anybody for why Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man and why Fox owned the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, it's because of Ike Perlmutter. That being said, it probably saved the company's bacon. The company itself would have been insolvent had it not been for that decision to do that. But he did that, and that's why Universal Studios has the rights to all the Marvel characters in their theme parks and all this other. It's because of Ike Perlmutter. He did that to basically save the company. But he was also responsible for Disney's acquisition of Marvel subsequently. He worked directly with Disney on that acquisition. And when Disney bought Marvel, he came over as part of that acquisition and was in charge of Marvel Entertainment, the arm underneath of Disney now. So he ran Marvel Entertainment when it first got bought by Disney. And most famously, he tried to fire Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he's been known for. If you remember, there were kind of two divisions of Marvel Entertainment at the time. There was Marvel Studios and there was Marvel Television. They operated independently while trying to kind of be in sync with each other. Marvel Television very much in charge of the television shows on ABC primarily that were Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Was the primary show that they had out. And then all the Netflix series were also done by Marvel Television as well. There were a couple of things on Hulu as well that they did at that point in time. Then you had Marvel Studios. But Ike was in charge of both, was overseeing both. During the first Doctor Strange movie, Ike was trying to cut the budget and was not sure as why they were doing certain things. And he went to Bob Iger and said he wanted to fire Kevin Feige. And not only did Bob Iger refuse, but he basically removed Marvel Studios out from underneath of Ike Perlmutter and put it underneath Bob Iger.
Yeah.
He basically carved out Marvel Studios into its own entity and left Ike Perlmutter in charge of Marvel Television. So that's kind of how that was resolved. We obviously know that was a pretty good decision by them.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. He was... there's also a little history there where he tried to kind of take over the board in a hostile takeover as one of the largest shareholders.
Of Disney or Marvel?
Of Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he tried to... Another billionaire friend of his, he tried to get on the board and vote into the board and tried
to strong arm the board to get another friend of his on the board of directors.
To outvote Iger and some of the things that were happening that he disagreed with. So he's very controversial. He's a conservative guy. And I don't think that went well with Hollywood. And I think...
and he was also very budget conscious. He was very always looking to cut costs in favor of...
Profits,
right? He's like, look, I'd rather spend less and make less than spend more and make more. That was his philosophy, right? And so that was especially that was when Marvel Studios was growing and trying to make investments to grow, and he was always looking to cut budgets and things like that. He didn't want most famously, he wanted to cut the budget of Captain America: Civil War. He didn't think we needed all of those superheroes in that movie, and he's like, you know how much money we're spending on the cast of this movie? This is ridiculous. It's not even an Avengers movie. Why are we spending all? He wanted to cut the cast in half. And Kevin Feige's like, no, this is the whole point of the vision here, right?
Yeah, I think he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think he also, I don't know. It's high level investor,
he's had some
stockholders.
Pretty famous gaffes. I mean, one of the gaffes, if you remember, the Inhumans were on the Marvel Studios roadmap for many, many years as a movie to be made in the roadmap. When the separation occurred and when Marvel Studios kind of got separated out from Marvel Television, Ike fought for the rights to the Inhumans, and he got them as part of that divorce, and was able to make the Inhumans television show, which ended up being on ABC television, which was a massive flop and a massive gaffe. And so you wonder why we have the Eternals versus the Inhumans in the MCU. It's because the Inhumans were basically burnt by Ike Perlmutter.
Well, I think he was less of a creative guy and less of a geek and more of a businessman. So
and he had been neutered and demoted so many times that he was a chairman of Marvel Entertainment, which effectively was really like kind of the comic books and some of
comic books and like toys and shit.
Toys,
like that.
It's like I think the annual revenue of his division of Marvel was like $80 million a year, which is less than the budget of most Marvel movies. So it's just crazy.
I mean, the big cuts going along with those executives. There's a lot of chopping.
Look, Iger came in and said we're cutting costs.
Yeah.
And one of those things we're going to do is we're going to take this massive executive who probably has a, 7 to 8 figure salary, and we're gonna cut that guy off, right?
Top and bottom. They're letting a lot of people go over at Disney. So, Alonso, that the lady that they let go as well, for other reasons, but Disney's going through a lot of weird things right now. It's the direction. Is very unusual, and the ideology behind it is very unusual. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
And I think that's been some of my concern. Is that I think for years they were very upfront and vocal and shared a lot with social media and with the media in general. And they wanted to get the audience excited about what they had going on, and that was very exciting for all of us, right, as fans. And we've seen a big departure from that here recently. They're very quiet. They don't make a lot of official announcements. Yeah. They don't come out and tell us what's going on.
Weird.
And so the only thing we can judge them by right now is what they're producing and putting out in front of us.
Yeah.
And over the last year and a half, all of that has been less than spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, everything since Spider-Man No Way Home has been okay.
Even the park revenues are down. I mean, Disney's they think Iger's going to come in there and save and redirect them and get them moving in the right direction. And I hope he does, but they're not going in the right direction right now. That's for sure, profit wise and everything else. So I'm hoping this slowdown and a focus on quality instead of quantity helps, but. To say all the other mess that's going on with these high-level executives and carving out this and cutting this, I don't know. Nothing to do with Marvel, but the parks are another issue. I mean, they have some serious damage control to do to those parks because they're bleeding and they need to stop that hemorrhaging. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it plays out for us because Marvel's a huge part of that. So.
All right, well,
very good.
All we can do is hold our breath.
That's right. Great show, Professor. The bell has rung. Let's call it a day.
All right, well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com or @supertalkpod on Twitter. Until then, stay super, everyone.
Get those drums to me.
And we are out.
Corn on the cob, man.
All right. Woo.
Black Viper. Everyone likes this game. Haters gonna hate. And I know you can't wait to see the Black Viper. Round and